I have a power rankings. It's a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Power rankings of the top, speaking of influencers, NFL offseason influencers. Hit it.
This is mine.
Power rankings.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Power rankings.
That's right. My power rankings will not rest. So what? There's no National Football League game action going on. There's a lot of foot. There's 32 teams trying to get to where the Philadelphia Eagles are, and that includes the Philadelphia Eagles. I've got my top 10, if you will. I'm power ranking the NFL offseason influencers, and number 10 is a guy who I believe is going to influence the way a lot of teams build their rosters, and also is somebody that's going to make a few phone calls on draft night, and people will answer that, and somebody's going to fall for the Roseman mind tricks. Howie Roseman is number 10 on this list. And we have to update the photograph because he's now, this looks like his camp picture. You know what I mean?
Well, he needs a big scar on his forehead.
That's what I'm saying.
From
he's now smoking cigars. He's got 5 o'clock shadows. He's got beards. He rivals Schefter in having facial hair damn near up to his eyes. Honestly.
That's true.
He and Schefter have the same sort of beard patterns. And I'll tell you what, he's now got a scar on his forehead. He bleeds for the city. And he's an influencer. And he's number 10 on this list. Number 9 on this list, I can't wait to see how many people in the National Football League who put on the pads and the helmet will say, I want to go play with the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels, number 9.
Good one.
I'm just going to put this here. In advance of free agency, who's going to come to Washington? And also, you want to talk about influencing, how will his success influence the drafting and the evaluation of the quarterbacks this year? If they're like, I don't see Jaden Daniels out there for Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart or whatever, does that push him down? I don't know. Or does that push him up because they do remind him? Or do you remind them, general managers, of Jaden Daniels? I'm just saying there's a lot of influence that he may have based on what he's already done and the phone calls he might make. Number 8 on the list. I'm putting him here because I don't think he's going to be on his current team, and he's a quarterback. And if anybody is not going to be on their current team and is a quarterback, they're on the most influential players of the offseason. I'm putting Kirk Cousins here.
Ooh, interesting.
Because what is he going to do? Is he really going to sit there and be the backup? Is he going to force some action? What's he going to do? Kirk Cousins is number 8 on the list. And if you're talking about quarterbacks and coming back from Achilles injuries and he's not going to be on his current team, how about a guy who already knows he won't be on his current team? I'm putting Aaron Rodgers here.
Ooh, ahead of Howie Roseman and those guys?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm putting Aaron Rodgers here.
Where is Aaron right now?
Well, I guess in that respect, where is Aaron in terms of wanting to play? And sitting out there, what can he influence? You could sit here and say not much, but if he says, I don't want to play, that influences a lot. That removes him from the table. If he says he wants to play, there's going to be an option for him. I would be stunned if he's like sort of the Belichick of this year's cycle, where he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greats of all time, and a bunch of teams are like, yeah, no, not interested, which is what last year happened to Bill. I don't see that. Number 6 on the list. I'm putting an owner right here. I'm putting Jerry Jones.
Ooh.
What's he going to do, man? What's going on with Micah? Did you hear Lawrence Taylor said today, or he was saying that, more football, less podcasting about Micah Parsons?
Yeah.
And every single time you hear Micah Parsons' name mentioned, there's just some sort of a rumbling in Dallas. They're like, really? This guy is going to keep talking? And his play does a ton of more talking than his podcasting does, in my estimation. And is he going to wait? Is he really going to wait it out? We're going to have Micah sign in like the night before the Cowboys open up somewhere. Is that really what's going to happen? Or could he be traded? And what's he going to do with the draft? And what's he going to do with this team? Is he going to be influential on the free agent market? I'm putting Jerry right here. Because if he decides to trade Micah Parsons, well, he's going to be more influential than 6th on this list.
Facts.
Number 5. Is this quarterback going to create an exit departure because he's asking for too much money for the current team? Is the current team looking to move on from him? For some reason, I don't know. I'm putting Matthew Stafford here. Until Matthew Stafford's on the dotted line with the Los Angeles Rams, this puts him in the mix for other places. Rams aren't saying anything publicly. He's not saying anything publicly. I would be stunned if he doesn't finish his career here. I'll just say it. But that makes him influential. Number 4 on this list, Jerry Jones is not the number 1 owner on this list.
Oh,
ain't no way.
In terms of NFL offseason influencers, Mike Brown sits 4th overall.
Yeah, I get that.
What are you going to do, Mike Brown? What are you going to do? Owner of the Cincinnati Bengals. There he is.
hey.
Look at him right there.
Hey.
Honestly, he looks like a guy that you just ran into, at the Home Depot. I don't know. Mike,
Respectfully, that guy does not look like a Home Depot guy.
I don't know.
That guy to be. He
I don't
looks like
know.
a guy who sends someone to Home Depot for him.
I don't know. Tim Walz showed up at Home Depot quite a bit. I don't know.
Mike Brown is 89 years old.
You might like the free samples. You don't know.
Well, guess what?
Costco.
You know what? The number 89 might be what he's got to
wide
pay his wide receivers.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, Mike Brown? What are you going to do? Trey Hendrickson is up there too, and your quarterback's like, pay them all, Mike. And you know something will happen when you hear that Velcro rip of Mike Brown's wallet from Cincinnati. How much is coming out and for whom? There you go. Well done, Mike.
That's a live sound effect.
Wow.
I'm about to say, I know that wasn't a drop. You
He actually leaned over and made that noise with his hat. That's Mike's next level.
I mean,
Del
that's why he's
Tufo.
got those statues, I guess.
That's it. Number 3 on the list. Top quarterback on the list, currently in the National Football League. Sam Darnold is number 3 on my power ranking of most influential people in the NFL this offseason. Sam, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Sam? Where do you want to go? It's kind of wild that the place that could use him the most is the place that started it all with him. What if the Jets make a phone call to Sam Darnold? His reaction, I would want a GoPro on the no. It's Aaron Glenn. Hear me out. I'm new here.
Listen.
I'm new here.
Seen ghosts.
Yeah, that's maybe what he'll say, and hang the phone back up. But Sam is influential. You heard Diana Rossini of The Athletic said last hour what is going to be a big fat market for him. Who's going to be throwing dollars at him, and what does he accept, and what does that mean for the Vikings? And J.J. McCarthy, very influential in so many different ways. Number 2 on this list is Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett. You just heard Diana Rossini say the Browns let everybody know at the Super Bowl he's not available, and every single team that's called the Browns, he's not available for now. Well, what happens when for now becomes not now? What does he do? How tough does he make it on the Browns? What does Myles Garrett do? How does he react? I asked him in many hypothetical ways at the Super Bowl, and he wants out. It's not something that's going to get fixed by, hey, we'll make you the highest paid Brown ever, or whatever, all that business. Number 1, though, the most influential people of the NFL offseason in terms of affecting what is going down. I'm putting the Sanders family here. Number 1, Deion Shedeur Sanders. I can't just think that Deion is going to sit back and let the draft play out. I don't see it. I think Deion is going to identify which teams are most interested in his son, pick the one that he wants, and make it 1,000,000% his mantra, goal to make it happen. What? Which team is that going to be? I don't know who it's going to be. And if one of them falls in love with the son that Deion and the son is not interested in, you don't think there's going to be any influence that is brought to bear there? And that affects the draft, that affects free agency, and free agency will affect the draft and the opinions of Deion and Shedeur. And if Shedeur starts testing through the roof in a way that I'm sure Shedeur and Deion knows he will, and if he becomes like the number one player, and you could sit here and say, Rich, that's not the case right now. It's not happening right now. The Combine a few years ago, Saquon, when he left the Combine, it was 100% his draft to run, and then Baker Mayfield wound up being the first overall pick. Don't take any cheese right now. I'm having the Sanders family as the most influential members of the National Football League world entering the offseason. That's my power rankings. Your thoughts? Before we get to Frank Isola? And leave anybody out?
Howie Roseman probably should have been higher.
I mean,
I know, he's running the draft. He's running the league right now.
He's general manager with the 32nd overall pick. And, I mean...
Do you honestly think they're going to pick 32 in this draft?
Well, we'll find out how high up he wants to move. I don't know. And for whom, I have no idea. And that will be influential. The most influential thing that Howie Roseman will have over the next few months is people in a copycat league wanting to do the same thing the Eagles are doing.
That's true.
But other than that, I mean, Zach Bond is the only free agent that one would think would affect the balance of the NFL and what other teams might do. I think I'm giving Howie respect for just putting him on the list.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.